Hi, my name's Sam Ferguson, and I'm here to give you a quick overview of digital media technologies. I want to talk about the rationale for the subject, the assessment structure of the subject, and the subject learning objectives. So, digital media technologies is a subject that gives you an overview of web technologies in general. So, we touch on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and MySQL, alongside other skills that might be necessary, such as validation and things like that. We're interested in an overview of the subject so you can describe and understand each of the technologies and how they fit together. And we're not really doing a deep dive into any one of those technologies, it's more about how they all fit together. So the subject learning objectives for this subject, there's 4 of them. The first one is describe a variety of software and hardware technologies relevant to or utilized in the development of websites, basically. That's the word there that's important is describe. So we're interested in you showing knowledge of these technologies rather than implementing things very carefully. The second subject learning objective is to apply several of these technologies in the production of a web-based product or site. So basically, you're going to get first-hand knowledge of how you use these technologies in the production of websites. The third subject learning objective is to explain the technical, ethical, legal, and social issues relating to the use of technologies in the production of websites. So that's the surrounding knowledge around these technologies. You're meant to have a kind of holistic idea of how these technologies fit into the production of digital media. And finally, you'll apply research and reflection by engaging in self-managed learning activities and in effective communication through active participation as a learner in a community of peers and professionals. So that's the professionalism that you apply when you engage in learning, and there'll be a few opportunities in the subject for you to show that. Alright, so that's the subject and the subject learning objectives, which is what we're trying to do. That's usually expressed in the assessment structure, so I'll take you through the assessment structure for the subject. So there are 5 assessments. The first is assessment task 1, which is about participation, and that's made up of 3 components, which are reflective blogging, drafts of work in progress, and attendance and class participation. And that assessment is worth 20%. The second assessment is your learning proposal. Your learning proposal is about what you plan to learn during the course. So most students will come with different levels of knowledge and different ideas about what they want to focus on. And you can customize your learning by developing a learning proposal that you'll implement during the semester. That's worth 10%. The third assignment is a technology analysis. That's an analysis of technologies that might be relevant for your particular project. So you'll have a project in mind and you'll do some research on technologies that exist and decide whether those are appropriate for your purposes and justify your decisions. That's worth 20%. The fourth assignment is a system plan. It's worth 20% as well. We're starting to get close to implementation at this stage, and your system plan will lay out in a good deal of detail exactly how your website or product will be structured, which pages will be linked with which other pages, and how each of the parts will work together. Finally, your final project, Website and Reflection, is due on the 20th of June and is worth 30%. So that's a larger project that represents the culmination of your technology analysis and your system plan and your learning proposal. So here you're building a website that demonstrates your knowledge of digital media technologies. For each of these assignments, you'll notice we have this table of criteria alongside weightings. So have a look through those criteria, because they're the criteria by which we'll be assessing your work, and we're basically looking for whether your work matches up with this criteria in order to give you marks. So they're different for each of the assessments. You can see some have only a small number, but others have more. So do carefully self-assess your assignment against those criteria.